And they need to seriously address it in their league, but they're too scared. I'm going to keep it real here. But yet this owner, you know, Adam Silver and Kathy Engelbert, they got an issue. They do.
Did you know Caitlin Clark's debut game drew 1.6 million viewers? That's more than some NBA games. But here's the kicker. The WNBA seems to be downplaying her impact. Now, the Atlanta Dream owner's saying it's because of racial bias.
This owner of the Atlanta Dream, by the way, they moved games when they played in Atlanta for Caitlin Clark and for the attendance there. If they call Indiana Fever fans toxic or Iowa fans toxic, that means they're calling Caitlin Clark fans toxic. Just to let you know, they did not do that for Angel Reese or any other player in the league that came through.
Is he right? We're about to dive into the number, compare Clark's stats to other rookies, and see what's really going on. The truth might surprise you. Do you know what's amazing? For some reason, Caitlin Clark has managed to turn the WNBA on its head. The figures are yelling more than the fans during her games, so let's dissect this. Do you remember the good old days of WNBA games? Not exactly sold-out venues either. But right now, as if a switch had been flipped. Think of it this way, ticket holders shoving and elbowing one another in crammed arenas. That is the result of Clark stepping onto the court. It's the genuine deal, not empty rhetoric. And here's something else. It's not all about posteriors in seat, like 4th of July fireworks. TV ratings are going boom. This is serious business. The execs are in shock by the record-breaking figures. People can't get enough of Clark's performance. It's more than simply basketball. Things become wild from here on out.
Cannot be a representation of what the WNBA would want in their league. This is our league. This was built, like, I feel like as a women's basketball historian myself, I've been watching since I was 5. I was here before the league started, as a lot of the fans on social media feel the same. That ain't a representation of us. Y'all not like us. They not like us, okay?
Some WNBA heavy hitters are pretending the Clark effect doesn't exist. Do you think that's true? As if they were observing an entirely different league. Selling out venues and receiving record-breaking ratings are hard to ignore. The remarks made by the owner of the Atlanta Dream can be discussed now. He attempted to treat Clark and Angel Reese as though they were identical in terms of impact. Wait a second though. The numbers reveal something quite different. The games that Clark has put out are selling like hotcakes at a Sunday brunch. Who is Reese? Very little. I mean, no disrespect to Reese. I'm simply telling you the facts. I have something much more bizarre to tell you. Before Clark ever arrived in town, the Dream had already relocated their games to a larger venue. Was Reese the only rookie they did that to? No way. That's the level of impact Clark has. She's causing teams to reconsider their entire setup, not merely filling seats. It's as if Clark pressed the turbo button the moment he entered the league. The pace of change is quickening, the scale is expanding, and more people are taking notice.
A die-hard Celtics fan could hate the Lakers. And you know what? If we being honest, that Celtics fan base has definitely gone too far with some of their racist remarks and their treatments of players. It's not okay. A diehard Tennessee Vols fan could have hated our UConn Huskies, but they would have been going way too far if they sent death threats to the UConn players. And that's what they've done. That's what Caitlin stands have done.
Still, there are others who would have you believe everything is normal. But seriously, when was the last time an inexperienced player made such a dramatic entrance? But hold on a sec. What gives some WNBA heavy hitters the willies? If Clark is blazing a trail throughout the league like a supernova, let's take off our blinders and ask ourselves the unsettling question. Is there more going on with this resistance than what we can see? Something has been driving supporters absolutely bonkers. So let's talk about it. For what reason are some WNBA players attempting to downplay the impact that Clark has on the league? It's as if they're embarrassed to acknowledge that a single player is having such an impact. But here's the rub. Others outside of the fan base are taking note as well. Not even the commentators can make sense of what's happening.
There are brawls that break out from fans fighting with one another because that's how much they hate each other. I'm sorry, this also makes me think of sports betting. When people start sports betting on the WNBA like they do with the NFL,
Come on now, that's not acceptable. I mean, honestly, imagine if one of the stands said the things that they were saying. What if they said it to your daughter, your wife, your cousin, your sister? Folks might be ready to fight. Okay.
The more that WNBA players, coaches, owners continue to talk about it, and I actually just saw a video today that was actually sad. It was 2 Chicago Sky players, and they got very emotional when they were talking about the kind of hate that they've received online.
Do you know what's amazing? Someone has used the term racial bias. However, let's not pretend for a moment. Would we even be having this argument if Clark were a different race? As one supporter put it, if Caitlyn was black, you'd never hear another player's name get brought up. Isn't that intense? They make it sound like the sole rationale for minimizing Clark's influence is her color. What on earth? Now listen up. This has nothing to do with race. Talent and effect are the key factors.
This is going to literally do nothing. People who want to troll, people who want to hate, people who want to be racist, people who want to get a reaction out of you are not going to stop because you said, hey, stop doing this. They're going to...
A diehard Falcons fan can hate the Saints, but they would be going a little bit too far if they created nude AI pictures of Saints players and then sent them to the Saints players' families. That's what Caitlyn stans have done to Angel Reese. Has definitely gone too far with some of their racist remarks and their treatments of players. It's not okay. It's okay to be a hater in sports. Like, hating in sports is a part of the game. Like, I like when our fans are so engaged and so passionate that they just don't like the other team.
Both are abundantly present in Clark. Folks, the figures speak for themselves. The astronomically high TV ratings and sold-out stadia are real. That has an actual effect. So, you're curious about the truly outrageous? It seems like some are attempting to lump Angel Reese and Clark together. The data, however, simply do not support that. A fan commented that it's so annoying the way they try to implement this narrative that Angel has had the same level of impact in the league as Caitlyn. Moreover, did you hear? That's correct. It's not meant to belittle Reese. She certainly have talent. The effect, though? It's entirely inadequate. I have a question for you. Wouldn't Reese's games have insane viewership and attendance if she were having Clark's impact? On the other hand, we aren't, and it is simply the truth. So why are a few high-ranking WNBA officials acting as if nothing has changed? They seem to be residing in an alternate universe. A source pointed out, they're gaslighting you. They're blatantly lying to your face to keep a narrative going, and they're hurting their own league doing it. Do you think that's true? Instead of embracing the energy that Clark is bringing to the game, they seem to prefer sticking to their story. I find this entire thing to be quite peculiar. Instead of rejoicing in a player's unprecedented popularity, some are attempting to downplay the significance of the phenomenon. Somehow, they seem to be terrified of novelty. Regardless of their feeling, the fact remains that Clark is altering the course of events. What about the audience? No amount of spin will sway them. They perceive the truth. Sure, I'll take care of that. The most insane thing is, the WNBA is treating the arrival of their new superstar as if it were inconsequential. Regardless of how some may feel about it, Caitlyn Clark is definitely making a splash. Every night she makes headlines, sells out arenas, and dominates television ratings. However, there are many who would rather ignore or downplay the Clark effect than fully commit to it. Utterly bonkers. Let that sink in. When was the last occasion that a rookie made such a dramatic entrance? People can't get enough of Clark's performance. It's more than simply basketball. So what about the WNBA? They're pretended it was simply another day at work while actually sitting atop a gold mine. It gets much stranger, doesn't it? If the WNBA wants to continue to expand, experts think they need to start promoting players like Clark. But some powerful people are preoccupied with minimizing her influence. It's as if they're afraid of being successful. Do you have any opinions? Would it be a monumental error for the WNBA to pass on the Caitlyn Clark train? Because I can see that they're passing up a significant opportunity.